Hey, it's Rebecca Smith from the KBIA newsroom in Columbia, and it's time for Missouri Health Talks, a project where we listen in on Missourians' conversations about access to healthcare. This week we hear from Virginia Mohammed and Matthew Huffman with the Missouri Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence. Virginia is the advocacy coordination specialist at the coalition and works with programs designed for individuals convicted of domestic violence crimes. They spoke about their hopes for 5 years from now when it comes to the state of domestic and sexual violence in Missouri. Here's Virginia.
So I think there's the aspirational aspect of having a comprehensive prevention so that there is no need for batterers intervention and there is no need for victim services, that people understand and live healthy and happy lives free from violence. But then there's also sort of the realistic part of me that also understands in 5 years, accessibility, I think, is a huge issue. We have large parts of the state where batter intervention programs are not available, or in more rural areas, they require large amounts of travel that are hard to get to. And I think that's something that we need to work towards as a state. And then also, I cannot emphasize enough the importance for batter intervention programs or people who are working with people who have committed domestic violence to be partnering with their victim services agencies. I think that victim services and offender services are serving the same families, and there's very little that can't be improved by working together. And it comes down to safety, and it comes down to community wellness, and it comes down to offering the very best services that our state can when it comes to working with people who are involved in domestic violence.
I started doing this work at the Women's Center at the University of Missouri when I was still an undergrad, and so in doing this work now for probably 11 to 12 years as well, it's helped me to see all of the intersections with sexual violence, dating violence, stalking, with larger things like public health and public policy, and how we really need to take very thoughtful and comprehensive approaches in doing that more systems level work. And so, I don't know, I know you and I have talked a lot about systems level work,
Right.
And just the need to really make sure that we are really thoughtful on that,
Right.
because the policies that we might be setting on the federal and state level are affecting people's lives every day in really
Right.
different ways.
Right.
And so just making sure that we consider how our laws and our policies are going to affect the lives of women and children on any given Tuesday in any community in Missouri.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point, because when I think about how this work has affected me personally, I think that it's that very thing. It's this idea that this issue connects all of us in so many ways, and that domestic and sexual violence is not just something that happens with this group of people or this type of person, that it is all walks of life, all backgrounds, all ages. Anybody and everyone can be affected by this issue. And I think as you do the work and you become more aware of domestic and sexual violence in our society and our communities, people in your own life start coming forward, and you realize how personal it is.
That was Matthew Huffman and Virginia Mohammed with the Missouri Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, speaking about the need for comprehensive approaches to fight domestic and sexual violence in Missouri. That's it for this week's Missouri Health Talks. Tune in next week for more conversations from throughout the state about health and access. I'm Rebecca Smith. Thanks for listening.